I mean, these people were lying. They were desperate to get their degree and to get out of that situation. They had been blackmailed into that situation in the first place. We did have some people who became completely asexual after undergoing the therapy. But no, we never changed anyone from gay to straight.
It was Dr. Card. When I saw him, he was calling it a form of biofeedback, and it did involve shocking, but the patient held the button themselves, and so the patient was able to shock themselves. The electricity had a level on it which you could set yourself, and he didn't really interfere with what I was doing, but I always kept it very low or moderately low. He indicated that if you really wanted to change, you would set the electricity higher or something. And it really, I think, scientifically is a bogus procedure. Basically, it was the same effect as a cold shower. You were starting to get aroused, and you just had some other kind of stimulus that made you think about something else for a while, so the arousal went away.
Why would these men, some just teenagers at the time, subject themselves to the horror of these therapies if they were just choosing to be gay? I cannot imagine that people would subject themselves to this kind of torture and humiliation if they could choose to be straight. These men wanted to be straight. They were so desperate to be normal and to be right with their families and with their church and with their God that they allowed themselves to be tortured in hopes that they could be cured. So why did it not work?
Bishop, I have struggled for my church. And I know it has struggled with me, but I feel like I'm...
You know, Dale, when my wife and I watched the Olympic divers competition, I noticed that the judges grade not only on how good the form is, but also the difficulty of the dive. Heavenly Father will judge you by the difficulty of your dive, which only He has the knowledge to understand.
The fact is, your job is made harder by the cultural confusion that exists around homosexuality today. Listen to your leaders. I do listen. I try to feel Heavenly Father's love and compassion for me. If you love your church, if you want your place in heaven, if you love your family, then you must find a way to stop. This is what I've been hearing for 30 years.
The teachings of the Church towards homosexuals, and this program designed to cure them, led to a rash of suicides at BYU.
We had several people who committed suicide during the therapy. We had 3 different people who hung themselves in the Harris Fine Arts Center from the balcony. If you die of a suicide, I mean, you're going to be punished eternally anyway. And if you die while you're still homosexual, you're going to be punished eternally anyway. God will get you good if you don't follow the rules.
Bruce R. McConkie, a member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, made a statement several years ago to the youth of the church that it would be better to be dead than to be homosexual.
The state of Utah today has one of the highest suicide rates in the world. It is higher than any other state in most countries.
A disproportionately large number of these suicides are young gay Latter-day Saints who simply felt there was so much pressure on them that they felt that taking their own life was the best alternative.
I had a father who told me that he wouldn't have a daughter that was gay, and that hurt.
My mother sent me a letter, and I think it would kill her to listen to me talk about this letter, but she sent me a letter telling me how lost I was.
She said that I was confused, and I didn't really have those thoughts and feelings, that everyone goes through that, and that with some counseling and medication that I can change. And if I continued on that path, that I would go to hell.
I had been taught that I would never be able to see my mom, who had passed away previously.
Because, you know, in my family's view, I've torn up the eternal family.
It's just the type of
pain that puts a young man or a young woman through is just unbelievable. And it just drives so many, including myself, to try and take their own lives, because that's the only out that you see left. Without anyone to talk to, and with thinking that who you are inside is wrong, and that God doesn't love you because of who you are. You don't see any way that it can get better.
Are you and Albie having a homosexual affair? Dale, you've got to tell me.
Can you help me?
I'll do what I can. I'll certainly vouch for you in any investigation.
Heavenly Father, please. No investigation.
Dale, I'll do everything I can to keep this contained.
Dear Lord, please.
I think I can understand how difficult this must be. Keeping a secret.
You can't imagine.
And I knew that I was living a lie, and I just felt that it was time to go.
And it was just more than I could take. The thought of losing my family, it was just more than I could take.
I had a certain spot in a certain canyon. There's a little parking lot that just connects right to a cliff that would for sure kill me.
I just took pills. I didn't care anymore.
I woke up with a razor blade in one hand and a bottle of wine, empty bottle of wine in the other hand, in a pile of my own vomit, and went, I'm in trouble.
I would go and I would cry in that spot for hours, thinking if I'm really worth living, if it's worth for me to go on.
We lost a really good friend during Proposition 8, a young man about 23 who took his life. And I'm crying. We know a few who have done that.
My feeling for them is, have mercy. These kids in those situations, many of them haven't told their parents. Most of them haven't told their parents. They live in terror of losing everything. Their parents, their homes, their friends, their future.
Bruce Barton said of the list of 12 men he was given that 2 of them disappeared from the BYU campus and several others committed suicide.
I overdosed pills within a week of being turned in.
I need to see you. We can't let them destroy us. They're envious of what we have. Meet me at the apartment. Everything will be all right as long as we're together here. I love you.
I think for Mormonism, this is going to be the most difficult issue that they're ever going to face, seriously. They have painted themselves into a theological corner. Either Mormon theology is right and I am just a deviant heterosexual or a lapsed heterosexual, or I am intrinsically, essentially queer. And if I am, then Mormon theology is wrong.
Nothing is going to come of this effort but sorrow for everybody. It is going to be the most divisive thing you have seen between families, between friends.
The point of this video is hopefully to raise the consciousness level of the viewer. I hope that by sharing the stories of these people that we can become more sympathetic and show more empathy to the struggles that our gay brothers and sisters have to suffer because of the lack of tolerance and love that they encounter in their families, in their faith, and in their conservative LDS culture. We need to let them know that they are loved.
I love you, Albie. No matter what. I do, I love you.
David Melson, the director of a support group for gay and lesbian Mormons, says they are making progress.
As the Church of Jesus Christ, we cannot go about throwing our children out into the street because of the way that God made them. We can't go on with the suicides because people are told that they have no worth and no value by men that they hold to be in authority.
I hope that we can be a little more loving and a little more tolerant towards our gays brothers and sisters. They need to know they have worth to us, that they enrich our lives and that we value them. Those who are in the church need the church to make sure that they know they have worth there, that there is a place for them there, and that they have worth to their Heavenly Father.